Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Thinking Scrubs X-Wing podcast. Today, we have another edition of the Faction Orientation featuring the Galactic Republic. But before that, before we dive into the Jedi, let me introduce to you our special co-host of tonight, for tonight, my one and only, my partner in crime, the reason I can still play X-Wing, my wife. Say hello to Faith. Hi, Faith,
Hi everyone.
and welcome.
Yeah, welcome to our first what's this?
Conjugal
Conjugal podcast.
podcast.
First ever.
Yeah. So, how are you, Faith?
I'm fine. What about you?
I'm good. So, what do you know about Star Wars?
I know some.
Like, what's your favorite movie? Oh, hindi. Sige, wag na lang favorite movie. How
I
about
don't have a favorite movie.
Why? Ayaw mo lahat?
No, not really.
Masyadong nerdy.
Hindi okay naman.
Okay. Oh, favorite character na lang. Star Wars character.
The kid Anakin.
Kid Anakin? Bakit?
He's adorable. He's smart. And yeah, that's it. I like him.
Grabe, lakas talaga sa girls ni Kid Anakin, ano?
Buti na lang. Sana nga lang hindi na siya tumanda eh.
Yun lang. So what's about Kid Anakin that you like? Is it the hair? The patwitams?
Yeah, the hair.
The hair?
The hair and the bangs.
The,
Bangs pa siya.
puro bangs nga yata yung hair niya. So, anyway.
And his pilot skills, of course.
Wow! Nice! Pilot skills!
Yes.
What do you know about the pilot skills of Anakin?
Well, he's good. He's really good.
Really good, ah?
Yeah, when he joined the contest.
Oh, sige. Let's dive into the Galactic Republic to see how really good Anakin is. Kasi si Anakin, he features in at least 2 of the ships in the Galactic Republic. But before we dive into the ships, let's dive into the lore first. Do you know what is covered under the Galactic Republic era?
I'm not sure, but is it the first 3 episodes?
You're right.
Wow. I didn't know that. I'm just guessing.
And it's totally not scripted at all.
Yeah.
So, it's the first 3 episodes, episodes 1, 2, and 3. So, yun yung time where buo pa yung...
Empire?
No, it's the time before the Empire.
Oh.
So-
Buo pa yung Galactic Republic.
Yes, that's why it's called the Galactic Republic. But other than the Republic, the Jedi Council is still whole. So, nandun pa rin sila Mace Windu, si Yoda sitting in the council, Plo Koon.
So is that before the Order 66?
Yes, actually, Order 66 occurred during the Galactic era, when it was transitioning into the Empire, when Palpatine took control. But what other, if you recall episode 1, right? Naboo.
Yes.
So, Princess Amidala,
Yes.
Padme. And another feature of the Galactic Republic era, the clones.
Yeah.
Send in the clones. Remember, Attack of the Clones, episode 2? So, in this faction of X-Wing, you will see all of them. The clones, the Jedi, Palpatine, even when Palpatine turned into Darth Sidious. So, you get to play them. Also, the characters in the Clone Wars TV series, cartoon series. Like, do you know the girl, the Jedi girl there?
I can't remember the name, but she has long ears.
No.
Is that
Ears ba yun?
are
Or
these ears or
I think-
hair?
I think those are like
Antlers?
no eh. They're not hair, they're like tentacles growing from their head.
Oh, I forgot.
So ako rin eh, I forgot the name eh. But no, that's the name of the long things, but starts with the letter A.
I can't remember.
Ahsoka.
Ah, yeah, I remember.
Ahsoka
So,
Tano. Alright? Now, okay. So, that's the Galactic Republic era. O nga pala, by the way, why are we doing the faction orientation?
I don't know why.
Well, it's an orientation. So, in case you are new to X-Wing and you don't have any idea of
Just like
which,
me.
yeah, just like you, that's why we have you here. So, in case you want to get, oh, that means you want to get more into X-Wing?
Let me think about it.
Okay. So, let this faction orientation be your guide to the Galactic Republic faction. All right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning about the Galactic Republic era faction.
Okay. And learn we shall. Now, the good thing about the Galactic Republic, they're one of the newest factions. So, they don't have that many ships. And we can actually discuss each and every one of them. Five in all.
How come they're new, but they're from the first three episodes,
Well,
but they're a new faction?
just like the movies, di ba? So di
Oh,
ba? First they
okay.
showed episode 4, 5, and 6 where you saw the rebels and the empire. So goes the same with the X-Wing game. When it was first released, the rebels and the empire came out first, and then the scum and villainy, the
Okay,
bounty
that
hunter,
makes sense.
right? And then guess what? What faction came out after that?
The one that's after episode 6,
So episode 7.
7, 8.
4, 5, 6. Oh, so now the Resistance and the First Order came out before the Galactic Republic because during that time, the Force Awakened. The Force Awakens is that the time? Force Awakens was released, so they timed the release of uh, well, before it was not yet the Resistance. It's still part of because it's X-Wing 1.0. So it's let's not delve into the past.
Okay.
All right. So,
So
but
I know, maybe we can now start learning about the Galactic
yeah. All right.
Republic faction.
So let's dive in. Starting with letter A, the Ether Sprite, Delta 7 Ether Sprite. Do you know what the Ether Sprite is?
It's that ship, the red ship.
So the Ether Sprite, mentioned, di ba? The Jedi Council. So this is the ship piloted by the Jedi. So they are quick, they are nimble, because only Jedi can pilot such a ship without crashing.
I think I remember that ship. Is that the one that the teenage Anakin
Teenage Anakin.
in
I
episode 2
I think
when
it's
they tried to chase the one that tried to kill Inamitan with the worm?
uh no. But nice
It
try.
looks the same.
Oh, but the one you remember, ano yun eh, top down, there's no canopy, right? It's like a
Yeah.
car. But this
Yes,
is
he
a,
jumps on it. I
yeah,
remember.
he jumps on it and he jumps out of it. So it's just a space car, but this is a starfighter. So remember Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was investigating the source of the factory of the
He went
droids.
to this far, far
Yeah,
away
alone.
planet.
Yes, and
So
he
that's it.
was
That's the ship.
riding on that ship. And remember, he was talking as a hologram. And then he was attacked by one of the droids. So he was riding one of the Aether sprites. Okay. So the Aether sprites, yung feature niya, um, as I mentioned, they're highly maneuverable. So they have many maneuvers. They are and they are also uh, customizable. There are two configurations. There's a version of the Aether sprite that is light and costless than the other heavier Aether sprite. Now, the main difference is the lighter one, it only has three hull and one shield, but it has three defense. And but the main drawback is the attack value. You can only roll two red dice. So and syempre, it's cheaper. The other configuration, the Delta 7B configuration, that ship has three hull, three shields, and three attack. So 333. So mas marami na siyang shield, mas malakas pa yung firepower niya. And of
But
course,
it will be costly.
yes. So it comes with a price. So it's costlier. But the maneuverability, it's still there.
Do they have the same
Manure maneuverability. Wow. So
maneuverability?
maneuver
Maneuverability.
say it in maneuverability.
Maneuverability.
Maneuverability. So they have the same dials, the same maneuver dial. So it doesn't change. So the same maneuver dial per ship, but the configuration changes, the combination of shield and firepower changes, and the cost. But that's not the main feature of the Aether Sprite.
What is the main feature of the Inner Sprite?
Let me get into it. Since it's piloted by the Jedi. So
Only Jedi can. You can only put Jedi pilots
yes,
on those
all of
ships.
the Aether Sprites are piloted by Force users, by
Oh,
Jedi. So the at the top of the heap is Anakin Skywalker with Initiative 6. So he's the top dog, the top gun, in the top pilot
among
of
the
the
pilots.
among the Aether Sprites. And since they're Jedi, so they have Force powers. So they have different abilities on their own. Like for example, Anakin, when he fully executes a maneuver, if there's an enemy ship in his firing arc at range 0 to 1, no, like, or if an enemy ship is in the bullseye arc, he can spend a force charge to remove a stress token. Like, helpful yan, di ba? Like, for example, when Anakin makes a K-turn, like a U-turn,
Yes.
usually it's red, right?
Okay.
And when he
It,
does
it,
a red maneuver, he becomes stressed.
yes.
And what happens when he becomes stressed?
Mm.
He
I
cannot
cannot move.
he
It's
cannot
time.
make an action.
I cannot make an action.
Now, with Anakin's Jedi power, if he makes a red maneuver and then he has an enemy in front of him at range 1 or inside his bullseye arc, he can
He can
remove
remove.
the stress. And he
That's
can.
that's a great force power.
That's a nice trick. No? So, pwede niya alisin yung stress token,
By just
makakapag-action na siya kagad. Uli. So, and I mentioned about the force charges. So, each Jedi, depending on the Jedi, they have a number of force charges that they can use to modify a focus result, be it in the offense or in the defense. It's like meron siyang free focus token, but he can only use it to modify one focus result. So it's more like a calculate token. There we
a guaranteed token. A
a,
guaranteed focus token.
yeah. Although more appropriately, parang it's more of a calculate token. So meron siyang free mods, free modifiers that he can use every time. And of course, parang
As long as it's charged.
yes, as long as it's charged. It's not unlimited because if it's unlimited, it becomes broken. So
Mm.
each Jedi has a limited number of force charges. Like Anakin is one of the strongest force users. He has three, no, tatlong force charge that he can use. Obi-Wan also has three. Mace Windu has three. The other Jedi, like Plo Koon,
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. sh- she's not yet
She's not,
a
not full.
full-fledged Jedi. She's still a Padawan then. So she
Cannot be a pilot.
doesn't appear as a pilot of this. Uh, but so yung at the other end of the extreme, the generic Jedi Knight, they only have one force charge. Now the good thing is limited man, but when they use it up, every turn it recharges one force charge
Is that automatic? When will that happen? The recharging.
at the end of the round. So you will recharge one force charge.
How many force charge can you use per turn?
As much as
You
many
can use
as
all.
you can use all. So yun yung maganda sa sa mga Jedi. Like for example, um you you make an attack. Uh you roll 3 dice. For example, you're using the 7B Aether Sprite configuration. You don't have any focus tokens. And then you roll 3 focus results.
And
Now, if
let's say you're Anakin and you still have three force charge.
force charges, you can
Force
use
charge
them
you can
all
use and change all your focus to.
into hits.
That's
Di ba?
nice.
So, even if wala siyang focus token, he can modify his dice as long as he has a force charge. Galing, di ba?
Yeah, nice.
And of course, since they have free mods, they come at a price. Medyo expensive yung mga Jedi.
Oh.
And before I forget, the Aether Sprite, they have the ship ability, the fine-tuned controls. I mentioned they're very maneuverable, right? Yung fine-tuned controls, it allows the ship to make a boost or a barrel roll after fully executing a maneuver. For example, nag-move si Anakin ng 5 straight.
Okay.
So that's the fastest movement in the game, 5 straight. If he fully executes the maneuver, meaning
There's no obstruction, no ship in front.
even if there's an obstruction, but you can only a maneuver is not complete if it bumps another ship or overlaps
Oh.
another ship. So unless so even if he lands on an asteroid or another obstacle, that still counts as fully executing a
Okay.
maneuver. So he can perform a boost or barrel roll. But he has to spend a force charge.
Okay.
So it's like using the force to do an extra move on his ship.
So, if you use your force charge as a pilot, can you still use the force charge from your ship?
So
From but this fine-tuned controls.
yeah.
Okay.
So every Jedi
But as
pilot,
long as there's
as-
a charge in
correct,
your
as long as you have a force charge, you can use it for fine-tune controls, or you can use it to modify your attack dice, or you can use it to modify your defense dice.
dice.
Nifty, di ba? It's a nice trick. So among the Jedi, my favorite two is Obi-Wan and Mace Windu.
Why not Anakin?
Because he's so expensive eh.
Okay.
Because usually when you put in Anakin in your squad, especially the 7B configuration, you don't have much points left for
For other ships.
ships.
Okay.
Well, you still can put in other ships, but they're less. Their upgrades are lesser. But there are strong squads that use Anakin. But personally, me, I'd rather go with Obi-Wan or Mace.
Because
Si Mace Windu, cute. Di ba, I mentioned Jedi can only recover one force charge per turn.
yes.
Si Mace Windu, when he executes a red maneuver, he recovers another force charge.
When you execute a red maneuver, it means you get stressed, right?
Correct.
But
So,
instead of being stressed,
Well-
he gets charged.
he still gets stressed,
But
pero he regenerates his force.
oh,
So he likes getting stressed. He works best under pressure.
is there a limit to the stress that he can get so that he can recharge his force?
Well, usually when you're stressed, you cannot do another red maneuver, right? That's an illegal. So, but if you do a red maneuver and then somehow you have a way to remove the stress, then you can do another red maneuver. But usually, one red maneuver is enough
Because
because
at the end of the turn, he'll be recharged. His force will be recharged again.
uh,
So that's two
because
force
Mace
charge.
Windu, you see the purple number there.
Yes.
So three. So tells how much force charges Mace Windu has. So he has three. Or suppose during the previous turn he makes an attack and he spends all three. So he has zero left. At the end of the round, he regenerates one. And
And if
then when
he gets stressed,
and then he when he makes a red
possibly with the
maneuver,
red maneuver.
gains another one. So yes, two again. Now if he doesn't use another force during that turn, full charge na siya ulit. Diba? So kasi previous turn, one charge. Nag-red maneuver, another charge.
Next turn.
Next turn.
Next turn.
Next turn, fully charged na siya. So if you're very offensive, if you like more doing target locks, Mace Windu is your guy. They're fun. Very, very fun to fly. Okay, so that's it for the Aether Sprite. Nimble, Force Powers, free mods,
And then you have two choices: the light and what's the other?
the heavy one,
The heavy one.
the calibrated, what you call it, targeting laser targeting system, and the Delta 7B configuration. So choose your poison. Which one? Siguro if you're highly comfortable on the way you fly, you feel that you cannot get hit, then you can use the cheaper version because the cheaper version has a lesser life.
Lesser light.
But
Lesser cost.
yes, cost less, but well, the
The
damage
drawback
output
is
is also less unless you can maximize the calibrated targeting lasers, which adds another focus if the enemies in your bullseye are. But that's another story for another episode. Do you like it so far?
yeah. I'm enjoying it.
All right. That's only the first ship. So let's look at the other. Oh, this must be very familiar to you.
Yeah. Is that the ship that was flown by Queen Amidala?
Yes. So in fact, Padme Amidala
yeah.
is one of the pilots of the Naboo Royal N1 Starfighter. So this is
Did you see that during episode 2?
episode 1.
Episode 1.
Remember the when they launched from Naboo and then they attacked that Federation donut ship in space while the Gungans and the droids are battling on the ground. So the Naboo starfighters are fighting with the droids in space.
Okay, I think I remember.
So the Naboo Royal N1 starfighter, um, they like moving fast. So whereas then the Aether Sprite, they like nimble maneuverings. Naboo Starfighter likes to do three speed maneuvers or higher, because when they do that, they have the ship has this ability, the full throttle ability, that after they execute a speed 3 to 5 maneuver, they may perform a free evade action. So it's like, since they're moving fast, they're hard to hit. So that makes the ship last longer. And they need it because they only have 2 defense, 3 hull, and 2 shields. As much as possible, no? They want to activate the full throttle. Now, Rick Olay, or Rick Oli, or Rick Olay, is one of the, I think he's the top pilot of the Naboo Royal N1 Starfighter. on top of the full throttle ability, meron pa siyang additional ability if he moves faster than the enemy. So like if he's attacking a ship and he moved faster than the ship during that round, he can roll one additional attack die. So like for example, during that round, during the activation phase, he used a speed 3 maneuver.
Okay.
And then to chase another ship which moved only speed 2. So he has a higher maneuver, higher speed. The revealed maneuver is of a higher speed. Then Rick Olay can roll one additional attack die. So that's
When he attacks
when he
the one
attacks. So when his speed is faster than the ship he's attacking, he can roll one additional attack die. Now, when he is being attacked by a ship that moves slower than him, he also rolls another defense die.
or because of the full throttle.
Uh, that's on top of the full throttle. That's only because of Rick Olay's ability. So,
Because it's while you defend or
yes,
when you perform a primary attack.
correct.
Okay.
So parang when you use Rick Olay, you're being rewarded for moving fast. Okay. So I tried this. This is Aether Sprite, and this also two of the most fun ships to fly. Because to me, one of the things that I enjoy the most about X-Wing is flying ships, maneuvering, trying to avoid enemy fire or try chasing your enemy, trying to go behind him to shoot him, and so that he can fire back at you. It's this ship is one of the most fun to fly, especially Anakin Skywalker, your favorite Star Wars character.
Well, I think not that Anakin Skywalker. That's from episode 2.
Oh, this is the younger Skywalker. Padme, you look like an angel. Pauto naman si Padme. Yun. Now, si Anakin, meron siyang special power din. Kasi, even before, di ba, nagmamanifest na siya ng Jedi power. Although yung force charge niya, 1 lang. Mahina pa lang siya. Hindi pa siya ganun kalakas. Pero he can use his force charge to do a barrel roll even before he moves. Remember, during the pod races, diba?
Yes.
He likes to barrel roll, and even in space, he likes to spin around and barrel roll. So they captured it in his pilot card, Anakin Skywalker, on the Naboo Royal N1 Starfighter. Tingin mo, anong mas gusto mong i-fly? Yung Naboo Starfighter or yung Aether Sprite?
Maybe so far the Aether Sprite.
Why?
Because I want to have Jedi for my pilots.
You want to have the Force.
The Force.
Diba?
Yes.
You want to use the Force. Then the Aether Sprites are for you. So,
But I can combine them, right?
yeah, you can have them both in the same squad. No, it's really fun to fly the Galactic Republic faction, primarily because of these two ships. Okay, so that's the N1 Starfighter. Full throttle rewards you for flying fast. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next ship. So these two are more of the ace ships, no? Like they're piloted by ace pilots. Now this one, the next ship in line, BTLB Y-wing. Do you
So
know
difficult.
this
BTL.
BTLB Y-wing? I wonder what does the BTLB Y-wing stand for? Big two legs? Like 2 legs? I think so.
Big tubes.
Big tubes?
They look like tubes.
Does it look familiar to you?
No.
Alright, fair enough. But you might recall You said a while ago, episode 4, the Y wings, their legs are bare, right? No skin, just straight
Mm.
rods. And in this part, it's like you can see the engine. Only the cockpit is has a metal skin now. Because that Y wing, it's the junk version of this ship. This was the original ship. So remember, this was during the Galactic Republic. So the Y wings were still new. So afterwards, when the Republic fell, so these ships, they were sidelined, eventually
Mm.
scrapped, and they were obtained by the rebels in the junkyard and used them to fight against the Empire. That's why they look like scrap. So this is the complete version
So that used to be
that
how
used to
how
be.
they look.
That's how they
They
look
used to
like.
look.
They used to look like. So similar to the rebel version, they are slow. They are unlike the Aether Sprite and the Naboo N1. So kung yung dalawang yon parang F1 and mga Ferrari, this one siguro parang ano to,
Toyota.
Toyota, no? Toyota, yeah. Very sluggish, slow, one straight. Um, kasi that's not their forte. Maneuvering is not their forte. They're more of specialists. Like they can carry bombs. And so far, this is the only ship in the Galactic Republic where you can equip turrets, like 360 arc, the turrets that you can change the direction, especially the ion turrets. So when you use ion turrets, when you ionize a ship, you cannot set a maneuver anymore. So you are forced to move one straight. So that means when your ship is ionized, the next round, your enemies would know where you are.
Mm.
So they can point their guns at you and then blast you out of smithy.
How come there's no turret in the red
Like
Y
this.
wing?
So can you
Is
see
that
this?
is that the
So that's
turret?
the turret. So that bubble top on top of the canopy. So that's the turret. It rotates. So like this one. Now,
So who can pilot these ships?
so like Anakin. So I think
Anakin can fly all the ships
yeah.
in this faction.
So when Anakin grew up, I think in the Clone Wars TV series, when he's more mature, the older Anakin Skywalker, he also piloted one of the BLTBY, and the other ones, I don't think they're clones. I don't know my lore, but among the BLTB Y-wing pilots, my favorite is Broadside.
Why? What's nice about broadside?
Broadside, he has this ability. So, while you perform a mobile turret attack, like when you're using the ion turret, if your indicator is facing your flanks, either your left or your right, you may change one blank result to a focus result. So if you roll a blank, you can change it into a
The
focus.
focus.
So free mods as long as your turret is pointing at either your left or your right. So and broadside. So that's why broadside you usually use him with an ion turret that points on his broadside sides, and then you use a focus token always. So all halos halos consistent 3 hits mo kuha mo kasi usually when 'di ba when you roll 3 attack dice,
Okay.
sometimes you roll a hit, a blank, and a
And a
focus.
focus.
Now, if you have given his ability, that blank will become a focus again. So if you have a focus token, so that blank, focus, and hit will become 3 hits. So very nice ability, right? Now, so that's broadside. So another notable pilot is matchstick. So matchstick, when he performs a primary, no, or a turret attack, he can reroll one attack die for each red token on him. So ano ba yung mga red tokens? Stress tokens. So for example, if he has 3 stress tokens, he can reroll 3 attack for free. He doesn't need to do a target lock action. But you know what's another red token?
I, I can't remember.
The lock. The lock.
Lock.
The
Yeah,
lock
lock
tokens.
is a red token.
So, of course, you don't wait for your enemy to
Lock.
lock on him, because
But
in
if you lock onto another ship,
Hmm,
you get a red token for that.
you don't get.
Ah,
In
you don't get.
1.0, you get a blue token,
Ah,
or
okay.
there's no color token then. But in 2.0, you only get a red token when you get stressed, or you get locked
Lock by
on,
lock on the another ship.
or you get strained.
What's train?
It's a different debuff. It's when he gets trained, the next time he gets attacked, he rolls one less defense die. So locks are red, right?
Yes.
And in 2.0, even your allies can target lock you,
Oh, so you can use one of your ships
or maybe
You can-
2 or 3 of your ships to
so
target
that you get so many
free rerolls.
free rerolls.
Daya, di ba? So that's March stick. So broadside, and we mentioned, right? I mean, compared to the older Y wings, these ships are fully cladded. They are armored.
So
They,
they have
so they have plated
plated
hull.
hull.
So they are tougher than their older counterparts. So plated hull means when you defend, if you are not critically damaged, meaning you don't have a critical hit yet, change one crit result to a normal hit result. So sort of medyo immune sila sa crits. So somewhat tougher sila.
Yeah, even the hull is 5, right?
Yeah, five hull
5 hull.
and 3 shield, but
So,
isa lang yung defense nila.
but at least they're strong. They're sturdy ships.
Yeah, medyo tough
And they have
sila.
this plated hull.
Yeah, but if you look on their primary weapon, baba lang, 2 lang. Diba? So parang they're more reliant on their ion, on their turrets.
Mm.
And right now, dalawa pa lang yung turrets eh. Yung ion cannon ion turret, and yung dorsal turrets. And both of them can only shoot at range 2. So they cannot shoot the full range 3. So medyo limited pa sila ngayon. So that's the BLTBY. And also, they are so far the only ships in the Galactic Republic that can carry bombs or device. They're no more not called devices anymore. I forgot what they're called. But they changed it. So bombs and mines. Those are the Y wings are. I guess that's the B in BLTB. B as in bomber. Y wing. So specialists BLTB Y wings. Next up, are you ready for the next ship? We have 2 more ships to go.
Yeah, looking forward to the next ship.
Wow, so energetic. All right. So the Arc 170 Starfighter. So this is a medium base ship. It's a slightly bigger than the previous 3 ships. So this is more of the tank. The tank in the sense that he has the most hull and shields, 6 hull and 3 shields, but he has low defense. But he has 2 firing arcs. He can shoot 3 attack dice in front and 2 at the back. Now he cannot do that at the same time
Mm. Okay.
unless he has a veteran tail gunner. So because normally in X-Wing, ships can only attack once.
Once.
Unless there's
The
an
the other cards a while ago they only have one of these
yep,
numbers.
they only have one primary attack
Mm.
value. So sinker, you can if you can see the base, so
Mm.
there are 2 areas shaded in blue. So that's the front arc and the back arc. So he can shoot either at the front or at the back.
Mm.
And if he has a veteran turret gunner,
You
he
can
can
do
shoot.
both.
He can do both. Shoot at the front and shoot at the back.
How do you put that veteran gun? Is that an add-on card
So
ability or what?
not shown on the cards is the upgrade bar
Mm.
of each ship. So each ship has a upgrade bar. Upgrade bar. Depending on the ship, he can put different upgrades. Like, um, for example, I mentioned for the Aether Sprite, the configurations, the light configuration, the
Mm.
calibrated laser turrets,
And
and the Delta 7P. So for the arc and for the BLTB Y-Wing, I mentioned the
you can carry
bombs
bombs.
and turrets. You
Mm.
can equip turrets. Now for the Arc 170, it's good that you ask. You can put in gunners.
So that they can use both attack.
Yep. Now different gunners give different abilities.
Mm.
Like one special gunner, Cody, clone commander Cody. He's a gunner. What he does is, if you attack, oh, if the ship equipped with where Commander Cody is a
Cody.
gunner, when the ship attacks and he misses, he puts a strain token on the ship that was attacked.
Mm.
So that
So
next
even
time,
if you missed, you still did something.
yeah, at least you did something, and it would benefit the next attacker. Because remember, when you get a strain token, you roll.
One less defense.
Yeah, very good. You roll one less defense
I'm
die.
listening
Thank you. So
and I'm learning.
yeah. So you can see there, no? So there's the gunner slot at the back near the rear. But aside from that, the Arc 170 so far is the only ship in the Galactic Republic that has a crew slot. So aside from the gunner, another crew member can step in, and then uh, those crew members, they add another layer of ability.
Mm.
Like for example, C3PO. C3PO can ride an Arc 170 as a crew member. And what's good with our C3PO is um,
Repair the ship? No.
he calculates. So a calculate is like a focus token.
Mm.
But if you remember, when you use a focus token, you change all the focus results to either a hit or an evade. So one focus token changes all focus results. But if you use a calculate token, you only change one. But C3PO, when he performs the calculate action, he produces 2 calculate tokens. And what's more, but the best part of it is, if you have a calculate token, you can reroll 1 defense die.
Aside from giving you a focus.
So
You can reroll.
aside from giving you 2 calculate tokens, you can also reroll 1 defense die, which is especially useful for the Arc 170 because they
Very weak defense. Only have one.
only have 1 defense die. So when they roll that defense die and it's a blank, if you have
They can
C3PO,
calculate,
you can reroll.
can reroll.
So that you can turn that blank hopefully into a focus, and then you can use the calculate. And it's okay, right? Even if the calculate only changes one, because you only have one defense die. So it's particularly useful in an arc. And you might be surprised. You know who can also ride an Arc 170 as a part of the crew? Starts with the letter P.
I don't know.
Ends with the letter E. And
I don't
he
know.
laughs like
What's that?
he shoots lightning from his fingertips.
Sirit. I don't. I can't remember.
Emperor Palpatine.
Oh,
Well, before then he was not yet an emperor, right? He was still
pretending to be
the Chancellor.
chancellor.
Chancellor Palpatine. So you can use Chancellor Palpatine as a crew member of an Arc 170.
Only as a crew? Hindi ba yun nakakababa? No?
Well, as a crew member, he has a force ability. So you know when you attack the ship where Chancellor Palpatine is a crew member of, he can Palpatine can make you have a stress token.
No, what I mean is, he's a chancellor, but you just make him a crew of your ship.
Well, X-Wing is a dogfighting game. It's not a debating game. So they had to find a way to put Chancellor Palpatine in.
Okay.
So I guess Republic, the Galactic Republic, that's one of their strengths. So they have unique crews and gunners. We mentioned C-3PO, Clone Commander Cody, Ahsoka Tano is one of the gunners. So her ability is after making a maneuver, he can make an ally perform a focus action. Although it's a red focus action, but it's a free focus action.
Can you put Jedi as a crew member?
So far there are no Jedi crew members yet in the Galactic Republic. So, only Chancellor Palpatine as a crew, and Ahsoka Tano as a gunner. So far there's no Yoda yet. So still a lot of room for this faction to evolve. And just to highlight, now this Arc 170, this is one of the ships piloted by the clones. So Sinker, Wolf, the 104th Battalion pilot, they're all clones. And special highlight to Sinker, he has this special ability. Now the clones usually, well, not usually. For this guy, Sinker, he helps other friendly ships, which is close to him at his side. He gives them an opportunity to reroll one attack die. So he's beneficial to his other squad mates. Now Wolf is more of a lone wolf. So his ability is for himself, not for others. Okay. So overall, Arc 170, a tank, heavy hitting tank, can shoot front and back. Very weak defense, but they have a lot of hull and a lot of shields.
Shield.
And they have a gunner and a crew slot, which you can mix and match to taste depending on what you want to, what result you want to, or what ability you want to put into your squad. Moving on.
Yeah.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Need a drink of water? I know I do.
I'm observing everything.
All right. Okay. And the last but not the least, the grunts, the torrents, V19 torrents. So again, they are piloted by clones. So they're like the cannon fodder. Like if
Mm.
this was a Zerg, so they're the Zerglings.
Mm.
But they're not
They're
as
the fillers.
well, sort of. But they also have abilities. They're not as disposable as the TIE fighters.
Mm.
But that's the role they play, sort of. So they are the cheapest ships in the Republic. They have only below average firepower of 2. Well, they have a bit higher defense than the Arc 170,
Yes.
and they have 5 hull,
They don't have any defense. Was that the blue
the
number?
shield.
The shield.
Yeah, they don't have any shields. So that's their drawback because when they get hit by a critical hit, it goes straight
Straight.
to hull.
Mm.
So whereas the other ships, the shields can still
Mm.
absorb. But the good thing with the P19 torrents, so they don't cost much. So you
Mm.
can they're the cheapest. So just 25 points, the cheapest one is. So you can put multiples of.
Mm.
So usually the role they play is they are blockers or combined with sinker. Remember the ability of sinker, the friendly ships.
Yes. If within range, you reroll
Yeah, one attack die.
one attack.
So even these
They only have 2 attacks.
yeah, even if they have two, but if they can reroll, so they have higher chances of hitting. And imagine if they're en masse, like 3 or 4 of them hitting on one ship, focus firing, they can still do a lot of damage. And the Torrent Starfighter. So currently they're only available in the Guardians of the Republic Squadron pack. So that's one box containing one Aether Sprite and 2 Torrents. So they're quite good. Because
Are they a good combo? Is that why they're
yeah,
in that pack?
in fact, we're going to talk about next. So we've talked so far. We've talked about the ships, the individual ships, the individual roles. Now let's try our hand at building a squad.
Maybe after this, you can make one squad for me.
Wow, sinabi mo yan, ha?
Yeah.
So you're interested, ha?
Yes.
I mean, I mean, customizing, building a squad, and then flying it, and then going against another squad. That's 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 the fun. Where the fun is in playing X-wing. Now let's try our hand at building a squad. Let's start simple. Okay, so uh, I mentioned the Guardians of the Republic Squadron pack.
So that's already
So
one
that's already
one squad.
one
Or
that
you can
one mini squad. So you get one Aether Sprite and 2 Torrents. Now if you add one Arc 170, then you get this squad. So one Sinker, remember Sinker? So Sinker, he benefits his allies, right? So
With
you
an-
partner the
with a
two,
reroll.
yeah. So 2 Torrents along with Sinker. So those 2 Torrents, they're
They should fly near sinker.
yeah, they can
Within a range.
fly in formation so that they would benefit from Sinker's ability. Now, riding on Sinker is
Your
the
crew.
Chancellor himself. No?
Oh,
You just
will
mentioned.
he be the pilot? No, sink.
No, he doesn't. He just rides and he just taunts and cackles. So, Chancellor Palpatine, his power is when Sinker gets attacked, if the attacker is within range 0 to 2, Chancellor Palpatine can spend a force token to give a stress token to the attacker. That's particularly useful at times because when a ship is stressed, it can no longer perform red maneuvers or do a K turn. So more or less, they are already more predictable. So, and aside from that, uh, he's chancellor, right? He's the emperor. He likes to command. So he has the ability to command. Like he can give an order to another ship within range 2. He can order a ship to do an action.
The, is it applicable to your enemy ship or just your ally ships?
That's just your ally. So your enemies won't follow you. So you have that, no? And later on, I'll show you. We're talking about Chancellor Palpatine, right? And during the first 3 episodes, that's when he reveals himself, right?
Yes.
So later on, we'll talk about Darth Sidious. So because you can flip that card, underneath that card is the Darth Sidious card.
And he can also be a crew? No.
He can also be a crew. So at some point, when you use that at the end of the turn, you can transform into Darth Sidious. And Darth Sidious has a different ability. So that's Chancellor Palpatine. Apologies for the low res cap. And this another gunner, the 7th Fleet Gunner. The 7th Fleet, what he does is he pumps an ally. He makes an ally roll an extra attack die to a maximum of 4. So
What do you mean to?
So for example,
Gold Squad.
the Gold Squadron Trooper, they can only shoot 2. But at range 1, do you still remember what happens when you attack at range 1 of an enemy?
One extra roll?
Yeah. So that 2, you have an attack bonus, you roll an extra. So you're rolling 3. Now you can add another one. So from 2 attack dice, you can do 4 attack dice at range 1.
Okay.
Or at range 2 and above, 3 attack dice. Remember, that's the weakness of the Torrent, right? They are weak. They hit like wet noodles. So the 7th Fleet Gunner can make them a bit stronger.
But their defense, they only have 5 hull and they have no shield. So how do you work? What do you do to improve that?
Well, actually, you can put in upgrades like shield upgrade or hull upgrade. But why do that? That's their role.
Their role is to die.
To die. Their role is to attract attacks. So better attack them than the Sinker and Obi-Wan, right?
Okay.
So that's when your enemy is attacking them, that's good. Okay. So that's Sinker plus the Gold Squadron Troopers. So when your enemy attacks Sinker, Chancellor Palpatine will give him stress.
Okay.
And then Sinker himself can attack, right? He has 3 attack dice. And then he helps the troopers attack more reliably. And you have a Jedi in Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan, his Jedi ability, his force power, when a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 spends a focus token, normally when you spend it, it's already gone, right? But Obi-Wan, he can use one of his force charges to make that friendly gain another focus token. So like, okay, I'll use my force so you can focus again.
Okay.
That's very good. So he has this Delta 7B configuration. So +1 attack. So his attack becomes 3. But he has 1 less defense. But he has 2 more shield.
2 more shield. Okay. Going back to the Sinker, you said you have the 2 types of attacks.
The
you
front,
did not put the crew that will allow you to use the other attack.
No.
You can't anymore.
Because although it's good to do two attacks in one round, I find it hard. I mean, the probability of that happening is quite low.
Mm.
I mean, you can maneuver your ship to engineer that scenario, right? But for this squad, we're aiming for simplicity. Remember, we're just starting.
Okay.
So maybe later on, when you're more experienced in flying the Arc 170, you can put in the veteran
Mm.
tail gun. Maybe
Okay.
that's why it's called the veteran tail gun.
Okay.
So you can maximize its ability. Okay. Now, R4 P17, it's an astromech that comes with uh, the Jedi pack. So if you're new, like remember we talked about when you do red maneuvers, you can
Mm.
no longer when you do red maneuvers, you can no longer do actions.
Mm.
And when you don't have actions, like you don't have a focus
Mm.
or you don't have an evade,
Mm.
when you get attacked, what happens to you?
You just absorb.
Yeah,
You just absorb what's coming to you.
you're easily hit
Yeah, you're easily hit.
because you don't have any modifiers. Now, this astromech, it gives you the ability to do an action
Even if you're stressed.
even if you're stressed. So you can do it twice
In a game.
in a game. So it's because if it's unlimited, so it's breaking the game. So
Yes.
it's so overpowered. So you can only do it twice.
Maybe when you're almost dying.
Yeah, you're like in an emergency.
In an emergency.
Now later on, as you become more experienced, you don't need that anymore.
Mm.
You can use other droids. So me particularly, what I like using is the regen droid.
Why? What about the
R
region?
R2 astromech. When your ship when they lose all their shields and all their hull, they're
There.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And when they're destroyed, you give points.
To your.
Okay. So even if you only lose half of your total life, you get half point. You grant half points also.
Mm.
And X-Wing is a game of points.
Mm.
So what's the regen droid when the Aether Sprite or any ship that has a shield loses shields, he can regain the shield.
Mm.
Two shields. So like for example, the sinker 6 and 3, right? So when he loses 2, he can regain 1 shield per round.
Mm.
But when he does that, he cannot attack.
Mm.
But still, right? Better a non-attacking ship than a dead ship.
Yes. I agree. So
So that's just
can-
one.
Oh, so there's still more. You can still come up with
Yeah.
more
So
squad.
this is when you want to use an Arc 170. But if you want to double down on the Aether Sprite, so you can use Anakin and Obi-Wan and 2 gold squadrons. So you lose the support for the Torrents, but you have another strong Jedi. So maybe when you're more experienced in maneuvering, you can use 2 Jedi. Now this the Torrents, they're more of blockers so that you can set up kill boxes or hinder an enemy ship that is chasing your Aether Sprite. You're nimble but fragile. So the Aether Sprites are good, nimble. Sometimes they hit hard, but they're
But you have
also
to
fragile.
protect. Yeah, to protect.
So you have to protect. So that's another configuration. Now, if
So your gold squadron are your sacrificial
yeah,
ships.
sacrificial lambs. Now, if you are really, I mean, if you're comfortable in flying the Aether Sprites, you can remove the torrents and go 100%
All aiders.
Jedi. Now this is one of my favorite squads that uh, I've flown successfully on a number of occasions. Now, on top of the Jedi power of each pilot or force power of each pilot, they can also have another Jedi power. So, okay. So for this case, I
Heightened
use
perception.
the heightened perception. What this does is, remember in X-Wing, when attacks first,
The the it has to do with the pilot scores. The one with the higher, no,
yeah,
the
this number,
yeah,
the
pilot
ship,
skills. Is that called?
before it's called the pilot skill, but now it's the initiative.
Okay.
So the pilot with the higher initiative, it fires first.
Okay.
So like uh, Anakin, right?
Mm.
6. That's the highest initiative.
Mm.
6.
Okay.
There are other pilots in other factions like Fenrau, 6.
Mm.
Initiative 6. Darth Vader, initiative 6.
Mm.
So what happens when Obi-Wan faces those guys?
So
He only has initiative 5.
5. So they will attack
So
first.
they will attack first.
Mm.
So if they can kill Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan cannot
Cannot.
fire back
Mm.
because he has a lower initiative.
Okay.
Now, what heightened perception does, it allows Obi-Wan to fire, to attack at initiative 7.
Oh, so he
So,
can be the first attacker.
he can be the first attacker.
Okay.
So, if there's a chance, he can kill Darth Vader, Fenrau, even Anakin. He can
Even before they attack.
even before they attack. So, I like that. It's one of my favorite Jedi powers. And this is the astromech I was talking to you about. The regen astromech. You can get that from the core set.
Mm.
Okay. And then the 7D configuration. So Obi-Wan and then Mace Windu with a similar build.
Mm.
So Mace Windu is like a blunt object that you use to hit your opponent with.
Mm.
So you just go full in aggro, attack, attack, attack.
Mm.
And use his red maneuvers to recover force.
Mm.
So he has a lower pilot initiative.
But with the heightened perception,
It's
that's
okay.
okay.
It's okay. But you still have to maneuver.
Mm.
You still have to point your ship towards and that's half of the battle, so to speak. Not only the attack, the maneuvering is also important. And in a way, Mace Windu is at a drawback because he has a lower initiative. I
Mm.
mean, he moves first before the other aces, so he cannot adjust
Mm.
his movements. Whereas, like for example, the enemy Anakin or enemy Darth Vader, he
With
will
the
see where
sixth initiative.
with the 6th initiative, he can see where Mace Windu will go first,
Mm.
and then he can adjust his
Mm.
location placement later on.
Mm.
So that's the other half of the equation. Now let me introduce to you Luminara Untu. So she's one of the lesser known Jedi. She only has 2 force charges.
Mm.
But what she does is she protects the squad.
Mm.
So if a friendly ship at range 0 to 2, meaning including herself,
Okay.
defense, if that ship is not in the bullseye arc of the enemy,
Okay.
then she can use one of her force charges to change a hit result to a focus result, or a crit result to a hit result.
Okay.
So, like for example, if they attack Mace Windu
Mm.
and they roll hit, so Luminara can use one force charge to turn one of the hit into a focus. So it only becomes 2 hits.
Okay. Can Can Luminara use the force simultaneously?
Uh, she can she can only use it
One force
once
per turn,
per trigger.
per trigger.
Per trigger. Like it's worded as while
Well,
a friendly ship at
so
range
that's one
0 to 2
trigger.
defense.
So once only.
So only once. Now,
But
one attack. If if, an, if
if
there's an
another ship,
if another ship attacks, then that's another trigger. Then she
Okay.
can use it again.
Okay, I understand.
So, but only two.
Two.
But still, at the critical moments, that's very it's very valuable. It's very crucial. Like can save your friend allies from death or from being half pointed. That's my favorite squad. Republic Aces.
Have you won
A bit, yeah.
with
Won
that
some,
squad?
yeah. It's a very fun to fly squad. It hits hard. It's very exciting because it's like, well, that's why I use regen as insurance. Because sometimes you just can't outfly. My players in the Philippines, they're very good at flying. Sometimes you cannot avoid their firing arcs. You will get hit eventually. So,
If you're a beginner and you're not good in flying yet, will it be easy to use this squad?
well, maybe not. Maybe not. You will get killed a lot.
Oh,
But that's how you learn.
okay.
So, okay, even though you're a beginner, okay, I would encourage you to try it. But will you use it in a tournament right there and then? Maybe not yet. But do fly it.
Okay.
So maybe start with, and also it depends on your play style. Like some players, they want to do highly maneuvering, flying. Some other players, they just want to march en masse
And
in a formation and then attack
Attack.
whatever's in front of them, right? So that's more of the rebel strategy, the joust. Now, what's
So the Republic, what's their ano? What are they like as a squad?
so? Uh,
They're the flying.
I think there's not one single how do you call that characteristic of the faction because passing through the ships, right? You have the nimble ace. You have another ace that loves to fly fast. On the nimble ace, they want to turn, sidestep, boost barrel. The other one, the Naboo one, they like
to fly,
fly
but
fast,
and long range.
long range, and then you have the Y-wing, slower ship, but it's like a specialist turrets and bombs, and then you have the tank. The tank, the arc, they cannot do. They cannot fly fast, boost barrel roll. Well, they can barrel roll, but they become stressed. But they're more of a tank. They're more for jousting. And the same goes for the Torrent. They're more for the formation fly. So it has everything. The ace, the fly boys, the jousters, the specialists. So that's the good thing about the Galactic Republic. They have a wide range of they cater to a wide range of play styles. So you can choose your own. You can try one, then move on to the other. If you find that you're enjoying a different what do you
A
call it?
flavor.
Flavor of the game. So it's like if kung pagkain siya, kung pagkain siya.
Chop suey.
Chop suey. Pwede. So, ang dami niyang iba-iba. You know, all in one. That's why probably I am enjoying flying the Republic, Galactic Republic. And it's
many
good,
options.
many options. And it's good that it's one of the newer factions. So, there's still a lot of supply out there compared to the other older factions. You still have to wait until they become reprinted.
Mm.
So, but this guy, the Aether Sprite, the Y-Wing, the Arc, uh, they're readily available. Now, that's actually a good segue, no? So, to our next section, the strengths and weaknesses. So, we've talked about this at length. So, they are strong in the Force. They're not the only faction that has Force charges, but they have the most pilots who have Force powers and Force charges. So the Jedi, the Aether Sprites, and as I mentioned, do you
Yeah.
agree?
Yes. You have the vast range of squad building options. You have different flavors. Do you want to fly fast, long range, or what? Or do you want to attack? So you can choose.
And then, as we mentioned, unique gunners and crew. So Palpatine is is available to that traitor is talking to the separatist pala. So you can join both the Republic or the Separatists. But the other ones, Clone Commander Cody, the 7th Fleet Gunner, Ahsoka Tano, they're only available to
This faction.
this faction. Even C-3PO.
Really?
There are C-3PO versions in other factions. He also appears in the Rebel faction and the Resistance. He's always present, right?
Yes.
In all the movies. So he's also present in all the factions. And speaking of which, this is the Darth Sidious
the one
version.
at the back of this card, the Chancellor Palpatine card.
So during the end phase, Chancellor Palpatine can become Darth Sidious.
Ooh.
And what's different with Darth Sidious? He doesn't give stress to his enemies anymore. He gives stress to his allies. So he makes utos. That's called the coordinate action. He's commanding the other ship. It's called the coordinate action. So Darth Sidious, after you perform a purple coordinate action, it's a purple action because you have to spend a force charge to coordinate. And the force charge comes from him. So after you perform a purple coordinate action, the ship you coordinated gains 1 stress token. But then it gains 1 focus token or recovers 1
Force.
So there's a drawback, but there's also a benefit. So it's like a terrible boss, no? So it makes you stressed, but makes you focused. So that's Darth Sidious. Maybe sinasabi nila tama. Maybe the Empire is not the bad guy. Baka naman misunderstood lang si Darth Sidious. Ano naman gusto niya lang talaga na maging mabuti. Yeah. So, do you agree?
Yes, of course. It's so much fun.
So much fun to play.
I can already imagine.
Talaga? So, gagawa kita ng squad din na we will play. There's so much fun to play, guys. So, I hope you try it out. Okay. Now, weaknesses. Currently, well, I'm not sure. Maybe the First Order has the smallest pool of ships, but they're one of the smaller ones, having only 5 ships: Aether Sprite, Naboo N1, the Y-Wing, the Arc, and the Torrent. Only 5 ships.
But for a beginner, I think it's okay to just have a small pool of ships because you don't have many choices, so I don't get confused.
Yeah, true. Kasi
so you can
ka.
just focus on building from this small pool of ships.
And as you gain more experience, you learn more about how to fly the ship. You can mix and match more of this, less of
Hopefully
that.
by that time the pool will grow.
Yeah. And I think, well, wala pang announcement uli
Up expansions.
of the next expansion for the Republic. I think wala pa. Kasi the next expansions coming will be for the First Order.
Mm.
The Baron something, Baron Charles. Kasi kawawa yung First Order, konti-konti lang yung ships nila. So, sa kanila yung next nila. But, kulang ba? 5 ships lang? Kulang? Hindi. Diba? As we've discussed, you can do a lot already with all those 5 ships. You won't lack fun with just those 5 ships. So, do you think, who do you think this faction is for? So, of course, if you are a fan of the Galactic Republic, so if you're a fan of the Jedi, or you want to fly like the Jedi, maybe die like the Jedi too. So this faction is for you. And also,
If you want variety in your squad, we saw that a while ago.
diba? Only 5 ships, but so
So many flavors
so
of
many
squads that you
flavors.
can make.
So chop suey. No? And if you want to build a competitive squad, one of the squads, 2 Jedi and 2 Torrents. They're one of the more effective ships way back then. I don't know now, but you can build a competitive squad with just a few ships, like the 3 Jedi I showed. So this is the faction for you. So Faith, do you think this is the faction for you?
I think so.
Sige, let's try. Let's build a squad and you promise to play?
Yeah, sure.
Talaga?
Oh, dudurugin kita.
Oh. On record to. And so that means na you still allow me to play?
This is a trap.
Alright. So guys, narinig nyo ha? So maglalaro pa ako and she will be playing with us. Yay!
Yay!
More X-Wing player! So that's it for our faction orientation. Any shoutouts before we go? Faith?
Guys, try nyo na to. It's a good faction to start with.
Or anyone you want to greet?
Wala na.
Okay. Well, thank you, Faith, for being here. I think you have the honor of being the first. I think, yeah, you're the first female
Of the
guest in the Thinking Scrubs X-Wing podcast.
Yay!
I hope the first of many. We have a lot of female players. There is Val, so there is Cam, and I hope you play with the second edition of X-Wing.
Sige, one of these days.
All right. I guess that's it. Thanks, folks. And try X-Wing and try the Galactic Republic. And then good luck, have fun, and play with you next time. Bye.
Bye!
Bye.